Welcome to Sink or Float.
Hi guys, Miss Pollard and
Miss Bales
here with a science experiment for you all. We are so excited. We are ready. This experiment is called
Sink or Float.
Sink or Float. So you are going to help us determine whether the object is going to float, which means raise to the top, or
Sink to the
sink to the bottom. We want you to watch and think of what you think it's going to do. Do you think it's going to sink or do you think it's going to float? Okay, so when you do a scientific experiment, you have to have a title. The title of this experiment is Sink or Float. Okay? So you have to have materials for your science experiment. So we have water, we have
a pitcher with water in it.
a pitcher, yes, and we have several other things that we are going to put up against each other to see whether they sink or they float.
Materials are things you use to conduct an experiment with. Here is a picture of all the materials we used in this sink or float experiment.
Okay? So, before we test each object, we're going to make a hypothesis on what we think is going to happen. Okay? Hypothesis is what you think is going to happen with that object. All right? Let's get started. All right, first thing we have is a
Rubber ball.
rubber ball, and I have a ping pong ball. Which one do you think is going to sink? Which one do you think is going to float? All right, let's try it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What? They both float. Look, can you see that? Ping pong ball is floating.
The rubber ball.
Rubber ball is floating. Okay, why do these float, Miss Bell?
Well, I'm no science teacher, but I feel like it has less mass than air.
Oh, less mass than air. That means
Yes.
it has a lot of air in it, which helps it float to the top. So the heavier an object is, the more likely it will sink, and the lighter an object is, the more likely it will float. All right, let's try the next one. I thought for sure that rubber ball was gonna sink because it's pretty heavy too. Okay. All right, so now we have spoons. I have a metal spoon.
Plastic.
All right, which one do you think is going to sink? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Well, boys and girls, the metal spoon. Which
Mine's
one? And what about your
It's kind
plastic
of
one?
floating. It's kind of floating.
I think if we had a bigger container, it would probably float. Yeah. If you have a plastic fork or spoon at home, ask somebody at home to see if you can make it float.
Put it in a big bowl. Bowl or a big
Yeah. All right, next one is a Lego or a
toy car.
toy car. Which one do you think is going to sink? You think the Lego is going to sink or you think the toy car is going to sink? Which one do you think is Bill?
I'm gonna go with toy car, but I was wrong on the ball.
All right, let's see. Only one way to find out. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Mine
look
went
at
straight to the
that. Toy car, sink, Lego, float straight up to the top. All right.
Let me get Crayon's toy car.
All right, let's try something else. All right. I have a crayon. What do you have?
I have a straw.
Crayon and a straw. Which one will float?
I think I might want to cut these straws.
Probably so. Okay, while Miss Bell is cutting that straw, The crayon is pretty light. So, do you think it might have air pockets in it, which might help it to float? I don't know. But think about the straw. The straw has a hole through the middle. The straw is hollow. So do you think the straw is going to have enough air to float? All right, she's cutting the straw in half. Okay. Sometimes you have to modify your experiments, okay? All right. Which one do you think is going to sink? Crayon or the straw or both? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, the crayon's very light, but guess what? It's sunk.
Mine's floating.
Straw float. All right. Now I gotta dig my hand all the way in here. Ooh, that's a wet crayon. Don't tell Miss Lockhart. All right. Now we're gonna do a dollar bill and a penny.
Which one do you want?
I want dollar.
Penny.
Does anybody know how many pennies are in $1? How many pennies make up $1?
You don't know the answer, do you? That's why you're asking them.
You know, sometimes I need a little help with
It's
math.
100.
100 pennies
100.
make up $1, okay? So if somebody says, would you rather have 100 pennies or $1? They both are the same. All right, which one do you think is going to float? Now, come on, you gotta get this one right. The dollar bill or
Penny.
penny. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, womp womp.
Mine went straight to the bottom.
Yes, and my dollar bill is floating. You know how when you go like, you see a big fountain, maybe somewhere, and you throw pennies in there, and what do? As soon as you throw them in there, they sink to the bottom. They do not. Wouldn't it be weird if you went to one of those and all the coins just be floating on top? That would be so weird.
I'm still gonna keep the dollar.
Okay,
The
all right.
wet
You
dollar.
can
is
have
still
that
staying
wet
the
dollar.
same.
All right, next to last thing that we have is an orange, okay?
Which one do you want?
I'll take this one.
Okay.
All right, this is a peeled orange, okay? This is an orange that had a peel on it, and Miss Bells took it off.
And my hand's orange.
Now she has orange hands, yeah. And then she has,
An orange with a peel on it.
okay, now, which one do you think is going to sink? They are the same thing, except for this one does not have the peel. Will it make a difference because the peel is off?
I don't know the answer. So
I
we'll
know.
see.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you're sunk.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird.
Mine floated.
So, the orange without a peel sunk. The orange with the peel floats. Do you know why? Because there are little bitty air pockets in the peel that help the orange with the peel to float. This one doesn't have a peel, so it doesn't have any air pockets, so it sinks. And now we have wet oranges.
Yeah, I'm not even.
Yeah, it's probably from in church. All right, last thing. Ooh, ha, ha, ha.
What is it?
It's gonna be a light up bracelet. We're gonna turn the lights off and we're gonna see if it sinks or floats. You know these? You get them and you pop them and then you shake them.
All right. You want me to get the light?
Turn the lights off.
All right. Is it gonna be dark enough?
Let's see. Oh man. Did this even work?
Mine looks like it's lighting up a little bit.
Well, we're just gonna roll with it. All right, so we have light ups, glow sticks. That's right. Okay. So we're gonna see if they sink or float. What do you think? Do you think they're gonna sink or do you think they're gonna float?
I'm gonna make mine in the bracelet shape.
I'm gonna
It'll
keep
fit.
mine straight.
It shouldn't make a difference. But
When you are doing an experiment, you have to make sure that every different time you try things, that things are not the same, okay? if every time you try something, if you have the same exact things, you're going to get the same exact results. You want to try different things to see what type of results you will get at the end. All right, so let's see. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I think yours is the container kind of messed up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mine flips though.
Hers is actually standing up in there. That is crazy. Like, it's standing up straight in there. It's kind of floating. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but mine is just straight. I think it might float. Yeah, that was. All right, so we did our science experiment. It was about things that sink or float. If you want to ask a parent at home if you can try a couple things to see whether they sink or they float. So it depends on what material the objects are made out of, how much air they have, how much density they have to make them float or sink.
I really wanted to do a pumpkin, but I couldn't fit a pumpkin in my kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We have to find a baby pumpkin to fit in there. All right, so we hope you enjoyed it. Sink or float. See you later. Bye.
Sink or float.